Hi everyone. So this video is going to be mainly focused on the 5 things that I really like about the Tesla Model 3 long range. So I'm a Polestar 2 owner, which you probably already know if you've watched some of my other videos. I've done over 4,000 miles in the Polestar 2, and I've had the car for, I think it's nearly 5 months now. And I've had the opportunity to drive a Tesla Model 3 for the last few days. I really wanted to see what it was like in comparison with the Polestar. And I thought it would be a great idea to create a video about the 5 things that I really like, and another separate video to that about the 5 things that I don't really like about the car. So, if you haven't already subscribed, please do down below. And obviously, great to hear comments and people's thoughts on the things that they really like about the Tesla, things that they might not like so much. Now, what I really want to say is nothing in life is perfect, so please don't take either of these videos out of context. They are just an opportunity for me to highlight the things that really do stand out and the things that stand out as being a bit odd and a bit unpleasant. But it's in no way intended as an overriding endorsement of the car or criticism either. So let's step in with the 5 things that I really like about the car first. So I'm going to look down at my list every now and again because I've tried to think this through. These aren't just off the top of my head, but in no particular order. Starting off, the first thing, the interior design of the Tesla Model 3. I think it is a very, very nice interior. It is very minimalist in its styling. The single display in the middle is probably a love or hate kind of thing, but once you've driven with it for a little while, you get used to it. And it is such a big, vibrant screen with such clear detail that it is so easy to work and so easy to operate. And it leaves plenty of space within the car to just have a lot of openness and lack of clutter, and it takes away any feeling of claustrophobia, of being enclosed, and makes the car feel a lot bigger than it probably actually is. Now, this particular car has, you can see, these white seats. That is an optional upgrade. You pay extra for that. That doesn't come as standard, and it is very nice. It does create a very light and bright interior, and this car's had over 3,000 miles of driving on it, and these seats look absolutely immaculate. Now, it has been well looked after and cleaned regularly, but I do wonder if maybe those would mark and get dirty over time. But I think if you looked after them, maintained them well, it would be fine. And it does look very nice. But in front of the car, in the front section, you've got this nice open big window that gives you lots of visibility out of the front, and then a nice, really sort of clean, open space. So yeah, the interior styling and the design is something that really stands out as good. And the quality of the materials is generally very good inside the car. That's something that I have to say I really like. So the next thing on my list is the cool apps and games. This, for many people, to be honest, is a gimmick, and actually for me, some of the things are like just really silly. Play around with them for about a minute, and then I'm never going to fiddle around with that again. But it is nice that Tesla have a sense of humor, and they put some games on here that actually are really fun. So if you're stuck waiting for the car to charge for a while, you could play the games, you could watch Netflix, you could go on YouTube, and I've done a whole separate video on the infotainment system, so you can watch that and you'll see the things that are available on here. But the Polestar 2 has nothing. It has no fun stuff on it at all. And that's kind of a shame because it is an Android system. So it would be nice if they would just put in a couple of games or something a little bit fun, a little bit more light-hearted into the Polestar. I do really like that on the Tesla. So, yeah, then the next thing on my list is the range. The Tesla range is very good. And now, something to bear in mind, this is the long range model, so this is the one that will go furthest, and that is similar in price to the Polestar 2. It is the closest comparative car. Now, I could quote loads of numbers and data and figures from the internet, but there's no point really doing that because you can look that up too and you can watch other videos with that. But in the short time that I've driven this car, the efficiency is so much better than the Polestar 2, meaning that in reality, the test I did to Gatwick and back the other day, I was getting an all-round range of, say, a couple of 100 miles from the Polestar. It actually came out more like 180 on the really cold weather day. But say 180 to 200 miles winter range, it looks like you're more likely to get 230 to 240 in the Model 3. These are not exact numbers, so other people might have different experiences. But my point is that you're looking at 10 to 20% better range in the Tesla. And there's no doubt that that is going to be a big factor for a lot of people to consider. If you have to regularly drive long distances in your car, then the Tesla Model 3 will allow you to do that and save a significant amount of time. So my point here is that if you can go on a single charge an extra 30 to 40 miles, that's 30 to 40 more minutes of driving on a motorway. And if you are doing a multi-stop trip, say somewhere like Edinburgh or north of Scotland from the south, then you are going to be able to save yourself 30 minutes per charging cycle. Now, that's actually quite a lot of time. And when it comes to a 2 or 3 stop charging journey that you might do in your car, you could find yourself getting to the north of Scotland an hour, maybe an hour and a half quicker than you could potentially do in a Polestar 2. So that is a serious factor to consider and one of the biggest plus points about driving the Tesla Model 3. And linked in with the Tesla Model 3 range is the supercharging network. Now, let's just have a look at the screen because this is really the best place for me to demonstrate this for you. Okay, so on the display here, and I have talked about this in some of my other videos, so excuse me for repeating myself, but the supercharging network, I mean, I'm almost at a loss for words for what to say because it is just so good. Now, the map is a little slow to load at the moment, but if you just zoom out on the display, you can see this map of the supercharging network across the country. Now, there is hardly a dead spot. I mean, maybe we're looking at parts of Wales as being a little bit dead. And then as you travel a bit north here, you start to hit some dead zones. But my point is that you can pretty much get everywhere in the country and be within range of a supercharger. So you would have to, if you're going down to Cornwall, you'd have to be a little bit more careful about your routes via the motorways. But this part of the country here, all of this is so well covered by this network. And if you click, I'm going to click here on the Heathrow setup. There are 20 chargers there at a maximum of 250 kilowatts. And the other thing that's really good about the supercharging network is the price, 26 pence per kilowatt hour. That's actually very reasonable when you consider that networks like Shell will charge you quite a lot more, and Ionity will charge you an extortionate amount of money if you're not part of the Ionity group of cars that get a discount. So here, you're going to pay very reasonable fees, and you can also earn free traveling by using referrals. So say, for example, you have the opportunity to, refer someone at work or a colleague or a friend who might buy a Tesla or lease one, then you can claim 1,000 miles of free travel. And I mean, I've seen some people on YouTube with literally unlimited amounts of driving because they have so many referrals. Now, most people won't be able to take advantage of that, but my point is this system is unbeatable. There is no other system that's anywhere near as good as the Tesla supercharging network. And the added bonus is that if you, for example, you navigate to one of these, it will preheat your battery to be able to charge as fast and efficiently as possible. And as an extension to that, I have obviously covered this in a separate video, but say I navigate to Edinburgh, it will plan out that route for me. Now, I'm not saying that the Polestar won't do this. It will plan your route very well, but this will plan it using Tesla superchargers, meaning you never have to worry about whether or not you're going to a single charger that might break down. It will preheat the car and the battery for you before you get there. And you can also have a look in advance to see if you want to have a look at the chargers. Say you know which one you're going to, say this Oxford one here, you can have a look and you can see one stall out of order, 13 stalls available and 16 stalls in total. So this supercharging system is probably the main thing I would say about the Tesla that makes it an incredibly great buy, especially for people who have to travel longer distances on a regular basis. Okay, so another thing that I really like about the Tesla is the storage. The internal storage is so much better than the Polestar. Polestar's is good. I'm not saying it's bad, but compared to many of the other cars I've had, it doesn't have the most storage space inside. Cup holders are a little bit awkward to use, and then it doesn't have any sort of big holders where you can hide away things. The Tesla is the opposite, possibly the most storage I've seen in the front of a car that I've had. And, I had a BMW 535D. I've had a few decent cars that you would expect would be equipped with lots of storage, but the Tesla, I'd say, is a winner in all areas there. The boot space, it's a different story. The boot space is big and you can fit a lot in there and you can fold the seats down. That's great. But compared to the Polestar, no, that's not a winner. But this is not what this car is designed for. This is a saloon car. So when I talk about storage, I mean what's available to you in the front of the car where you can hide stuff. The Tesla Model 3 is definitely a winner in that area. So I hope this video has been useful. Those are my 5 things that really stood out for me in the few days of driving this car. I'm sure people who've owned the car for longer will have other things that they would add to that list, but I tried to keep it short to just 5 real standout items. So yeah, I hope this was a helpful video for you if you're considering the Tesla and you're comparing that to other cars of a similar price on the market today. I'll be back again with another video soon, and thanks for watching.